Morning, Saturday morning. I haven't got a great deal to do today, just going to clean the car up a bit, just double check things. So this will probably be a amalgamation of Saturday and Sunday or Monday before I get it in for MOT on Tuesday. So we'll see how we go. I just rolled the car out after sitting overnight. I cleaned that tray off. Just wanted to make sure that I've got no massive oil leaks. I know there's a little drip from the gearbox seal at the back, but there's nothing wet on there. That's just where the antifreeze was in it the other day. So that looks okay. And then there's no evidence on the floor of any wet leaks, so looking good. You can probably see as I left it overnight, slightly over full, it's obviously found the rest of the air, and that's the level on the expansion bottle. So I'll top that up. I'm just going to give the car a bit of a clean outside. It was covered in dust from sanding the filler. Obviously you know the bonnet used to be black and it's all faded and crappy. That'll have to wait until I decide what I'm doing, but for now we'll just put some T-cut on the car and see what we can get out of it. It's never going to look great, as we know, but I think it adds character at the minute. I'll do a little walk round now I've polished it. I appreciate I can't really get a lot of it into shot because it's still stuck on the dry, but when I move it off for the MOT I'll show you a bit better. As you can see, the bonnet is never going to look any better without a total respray. It's a bit dull in places, but that's to be expected with all the black paint that was on and the thinners I've had on it. But those of you that have been watching from the start will clearly see that she looks a lot better than she did when we first got her. Just quickly show you inside. Seats are really good condition. She looks a lot better than she did. There's still places that's always going to be rough. The headline is a bit grimy and the parcel shelf, but I mean, it's 42 years old and it's clearly never had any work done to it. There we go, all clean. I've just got to check the lights and stuff, double check for the MOT, and then fingers crossed. Nearly forgot there, we'll try and do a genuine start up from cold. It's not been started since yesterday. See how we go. Right, I'm going to try something now that I've not done, which is drive it into the garage using its own power. Wish me luck. Morning, Sunday morning now, continuing on from yesterday. Just going to have a look at this horn press. The horn's intermittent on the button. The horn itself is fine and the wiring, it's just the button. I'm led to believe there's a little brass contactor inside that needs cleaning up, so I'm going to have a look at that. I don't know how successful this will be. I'm led to believe you can take the last bit off. I can see the little crack in it here. It comes apart there. I'm led to believe that the spring may fly out, so I've got to be careful here. Well, I don't chop my finger off as well. With a Stanley knife, this could be dodgy. You don't like the look of this side, do you, mate? Try as I might, I don't know what I'm doing wrong here, but I cannot get this off. Maybe I'm being a bit too careful with it. I don't want to break it. But I've sprayed it with WD-40 upwards and really banged it about while the battery was disconnected. And it's a bit better now. So I say that'll do, because the MOT man should just do that and it should pass. Right, so as I mentioned on a previous video, this fan belt, I was told by the last but one owner that he's had it jump off a couple of times. I don't really know why. It can't overly run out of line. He did say it had a new water pump on. Is it possible the bearing could be a slight dodgy? I don't know, but like I say, Ian from the Hydrogas suspension said that these toothed ones weren't the best, so I'm going to change it for a normal old style and see how it goes. Right, so need to slacken the adjuster there 9/16, and then 2½ inches at the top, just loosen them off, should be easy enough. Right, it's all changed. I'm not overly impressed with this slider mechanism here. No idea what it's supposed to be like, but there's basically a bolt going through the block bracket with a nut on the back, and then the slider on top, and then this nut to lock it off. But the nut and bolt were loose into the block, and the nut that was on the back wasn't a great size, so there wasn't a great deal holding it on the slider. So I've tightened the nut and bolt up and put a washer behind. It seems to be pulling level and tight now, so we'll just have to see. I don't know if you can actually see the washer. You can see that silver washer there. So yeah, that is how it is, just a nut and a bolt through that casing. Not exactly brilliant, but that washer sort of might help. The only sort of difference I can see in this style of belt to the solid one is it's a lot more springy and floppy, which I suppose it's going to be with the V's cut in. Time will tell if, well, again, it's never jumped off for me, but all I've done is start the car, you see. I've not driven it anywhere. So yeah, we'll see. Seems to be running okay. Can't see any visible twists or problems. So what I have just noticed, you can see around the bottom of the thermostat housing, I did notice a while ago, but obviously didn't know if it was oil or where I'd clean the engine, but there's definitely a bit of seepage in just this corner. I'm loath to just tighten this up because I don't know if that bolt just pulls that down. I'll ask the question before I mess, but I presume I can see there's a gasket here, but I presume there's a gasket at the bottom as well. Let me know. Do you approve? Do you approve? Right, that's it. Lights are all working. Everything's been checked that I can check. Next stop MOT on Tuesday. Fingers crossed, all is well. Or I get a fix list that's not too expensive. Catch you later. Oh, come here. Say bye-bye, puppy. That way. Rubbish. You're rubbish on camera. Worse than me.